Students, parents, welcome. HPA's 5th anniversary. So excited to have you here. I'm going to begin and end with thank you. We're really, really grateful that parents, you're sharing your students with us. And students, we're grateful that you're here and that you're going to give everything you have to your experience and to our experience as a community. 75 years, that's a lot of folks that have come before us, right? So we have some obligations to fulfill. My name is Fred Warner. I'm the head of school here. I have to look down to make sure I'm not wearing that shirt. Okay, good news there. I do like that shirt. So I'm the 13th head of school at HPA. This is my 16th year here working at HPA, my 30th year in schools. And I'm the parent of 4 children, 2 graduates and 2 high schoolers. I mean, I think parents, in terms of value from me to you, that's probably where I can probably help the most. So I'll give you a few anecdotes as we go through. I also coach basketball here in the community and have done so at HPA for the last 15 years. So my primary responsibilities are to support the people that support the people that support the students. And I do my best to connect with students as much as I can. But my real work here is really making sure all the magic that the teachers are able to produce day in and day out, that they have what they need to do so. I also work with our board of trustees to ensure that we have a bright future. So 75 great years have gone by, and we're looking at 75 more into the future. Okay, hang in there with me if you've already seen my rafting metaphor. But students and parents, especially 9th graders, this is a visual metaphor of maybe your first couple days, starting today and going through. So our goal of orientation is to get you comfortable and relaxed so when you start school, you're feeling good. Look at this river guide here. Oh, he's smiling, right? Why is he smiling? He's having fun. He's comfortable. How's he comfortable? He knows where the eddies are. He knows where the rapids are. He's been down the river before. Look at his clients. Maybe that's some of you in the chairs here, right? Parents and students, and that's real. So our goal today and tomorrow is to have you feeling like this by the time we start classes on Wednesday, right? So we're going to give you a lot of information. We're going to introduce you to a lot of people. There's no tests on Wednesday. We just want to give you information and show you your resources so you feel really comfortable when we get going. So we want to get from here to here. Whoa, here to there. All right. Okay. 75 years, founded in 1949 as Hawaii Episcopal Academy. We were in town in Waimea, and we actually have one of our original buildings that was brought here to the upper campus it still serves as one of the wings of our dorm. This is Carter Hall that you walked by from check-in here to GPAC. What do you notice about campus back in the 50s and 60s? No trees. Can you imagine, right? Trade winds back in the day, right? Or you talk to our alums. I get to go to the alumni reunions, and they're walking like this. They're like, they battled this place without trees, so they think we're all a little bit soft for what we have now. One thing to take a look at, and we'll talk about it more when we go to some of the buildings, but the original architect for a lot of our classrooms, our chapel, our gymnasium, our dormitories, was a guy named Vladimir Osipov, and he's a famous architect in Hawaii. So the Kona Airport is another piece of his work. So we're blessed to have amazing facilities that have proven to be timeless. We're an international boarding school, so you day students here, you're going to be in classes with people from all over the world, all over the continental United States, and typically we make up about 600 students K-12. And this year we'll be a little bit above that. Okay, our mission has three distinct pieces: to provide exceptional learning opportunities in a diverse community, honoring the traditions of Hawaii. Now, this guy Noah here and you all, this is who we're accountable to, right? Delivering on this mission every day, and we'll do our best to serve you in that. And then we expect that you do the same. Our vision is to be the premier educational community committed to living and learning sustainably. So Vision 2049, that's us when we're 100 years old. So the things that we do today, the decisions we make, the classes that we're teaching are all designed to lead us towards that mission, that vision. Core values, these are verbs for us students. So we want to make sure you're going to hear these words, see these words all over the place, but they're not just on banners. They're action words, and they're how we communicate, they're how we treat each other, they're how we make decisions. And I'll tell you, I've worked at a few schools, and I've visited many in my time in education. I think the bottom one, wonder, is one that kind of sets us apart. And in 2024 in education, to be curious, to be appreciative, and to be content is really important. And it's worth time spent, right, getting to know yourself. And I would say, I'll refer to my kids a couple times, the graduates. They left here on different paths, but I knew they were going to be able to swim because they knew themselves, right? And that's part of this, the wonder value that we work on here at school. We have some agreements as an organization to be responsive, to think the best, to anticipate others' needs, and to act with aloha always. Students and parents, this is our commitment to you. We're gonna be responsive to you, okay? We're always gonna come at things with relentless positivity. We're gonna try to anticipate your needs, and we're gonna do our best to communicate with aloha. Got a few more metaphors for you, but the one that we talked about in our staff meetings early on was the idea that a tree grows both downwards and upwards at the same time, right? And so that's what we talked to our adults about, and that's what we want students to be thinking. We want you to connect to each other and this place, and we also want you to branch out, lean towards the sun, right? Go into the wind, and you're doing that all at the same time. And we use the ohia tree, which is unique to this place, right? And I talked to our graduates last year about how amazing this tree is and how we can be this for each other. Its branches are strong enough to hold our chapel up. Its leaves are used to medicate. Its roots actually feed the aquifer. And its flowers are sustenance for native birds. And I asked our graduates to think about this when you go out. Like, you can be that for someone else, right? And then we talked to our team here as adults, like, we can be this for each other. And so students, I'm probably gonna beat you over the head with this all year, every time I'm up here. But it's a beautiful metaphor, and it's something that if we can do this for each other, we can't lose. Few takeaways. I've been carrying these around in my pocket for the last few years, and you can kind of, with your parent lens or with your student lens, hopefully you can hold on to these. Seek first to understand. As a parent, there was a year where I had 3 kids in the assembly, right? I had a freshman, a junior, and a senior. And it was absolutely amazing what would get the conversation, the information that would go from this assembly to then my home. So one example of seeking first to understand it was around the end of the semester, and it's a boy and then 2 girls, right? At the time, we're in the high school. So the oldest, the boy, says, "Yeah, we don't have school on Friday." "Oh, we don't have school on Friday." So I asked the daughter, the second one, said, "Do y'all have school on Friday?" Because I usually know. I mean, I don't always know, but I usually know. And she said, "Well, we have an abbreviated schedule because we're preparing for exams, so we get to go in and talk to our teachers about the exams." So, "Oh, So you have school. And then I talked to the youngest, and she's like, yeah, that's what she said. So back to my son, I'm like, no school tomorrow? He's like, well, you know, same. So I would just ask that as parents, if information comes home and it sounds crazy, it might be. There's probably something in there, but I do ask that you seek first to understand, and we do that with our adults as well, right? There's just a lot of information that gets shared, and I think it's best practice to always check in a little bit, dig a little deeper, and we'll ask our students to do the same. Speak the truth with love. That goes back to Aloha always. Speaking the truth is important, right? And so we promise to do that with your students, right? That's critical. But how we do it is also just as important. Embrace the power of community. That your next hour are people presenting that are your resources, right? It's for students. I want you to really pay attention because these are the folks you go to, right? You don't need to go home to then have your parent call back and say, what are the resources? This is now here for you. But as well, parents, we have a community, not just our school community, but in our local island community that is just so strong and committed to education for our students. Pay attention. Students first. Pay attention to each other. Right? It's this paradox that we have right now where we'll be at a table with all these amazing people, but we'll be on a phone talking to somebody that we're going to talk to in like an hour, right? But we talk about a diverse community. You're never going to be in a place that has this many people from this many different places with this many different experiences. So pay attention to them, and then also pay attention to where you are. Look around. Whenever you feel like, man, this is bigger than me, look at these hills, look at that ocean, look at those volcanoes. This place will take care of you, right? But you gotta honor it and pay attention to it. Parents, it's easy for us to kind of just not pay attention. I'm with you, I do it. But you know your kids better than we do. And so if you're noticing something's off, I tell our boarding parents, and like bags under their eyes, like these are things that you may have a feeling about. Let us know, right? If you're feeling like something's off, communicate with us. Pay attention. And then lastly is never worry alone. And students, you'll hear about all the resources, and I think we'll cover that. So parents, I'm really talking to you. I know we're constantly thinking about our kids and all the possible things. If there's something rattling around or waking you up at night, like call us, email us, like don't just stew on it, right? Because we do that because that's what we think we're supposed to do. But I would just say don't worry alone. Like communicate with us and we'll do our best to figure it out together. Okay, that's it for me. I will be responsive to you. I might not be boots on the ground with what's going on with your student. But I'm always happy to listen and to get you the best answer that I can and connect you with the right people. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can't wait. If I haven't met you yet, I'm excited to meet you. And really enjoy your day and think about that rafting trip because students, and parents, we want you comfortable on Wednesday when you get going. And I'll talk to the students tomorrow. Like, we need you. Like, you got to get rolling. Like, we're a small school, so we need you in those classes and on those fields doing your best. So thanks for being here again. Really appreciate you. Aloha.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Mark Natzel, and I'm the head of the upper school here. This is my 33rd year at the school, and passion of mine is I coach swimming. And all of my responsibilities include just about everything that happened at the upper school here. A little bit about me, other than my joy for swimming. I have a daughter that graduated from here in 2018. I'm proud of her. She is completing her graduate program, entering her third year up at Montana State. She left HPA in class of 2022, or graduated from Denison University in Ohio, small liberal arts school in 2022, and then went on to Montana State for her graduate work. My wife's a graduate here of 1983. Again, the primary responsibilities that I have are involving the academics, and there's a support team that Dr. Aragon here is going to talk to you a little bit about in terms of the academic support. We have a student life team that helps, and students and parents, if there's ever a question about what's going on, there's a very unique person in the student life office, and her name is Leanne Ganley. And Leanne has many, many answers. And students, as you come in each day, and in the next few weeks, you're going to check in right at the student life office there below the cafeteria. When you have questions, ask them. Don't go on with your day wondering where you're supposed to be. It's okay. We're here to support. Because I know that probably a few of you in the audience, you've been involved in other things, such as maybe you've played club volleyball, maybe you've been in another sport, maybe you have a judo group that you work with. And when you have questions there, I'm sure you ask your coach, and you go on and do that. And it's very important for you to ask those questions and not to assume that you're expected to know. No, if we knew everything, we wouldn't be here at a school, right? We would be all doing other things. But we're here to learn, and part of that is to learn our processes, and it's important for you to ask those questions to us. Okay? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Aragon.
All right, I'm not quite as tall as Mr. Natzel, but like he said, my name is Dr. Aragon. I am originally from Southern California. This is my third year here at HPA, but I have over 16 years of teaching and admin experience. I've taught K through 12, and my primary position, I deal with the oversight of the academic program and looking how I can support teachers in delivering content and their instruction, as well as we do have a learning center here, and I oversee that, which I'll go into a little bit later, and just help out with students and their overall experience. So our academics here at HBA, and what do we kind of typically expect? So for students, please check your email every day. That is where our primary communication comes from, especially if you are not in that class every day because we have our block scheduling. You want to actively participate in your class, ask those questions to your teachers and other students, have those peer relationships and buddies, show respect for your teachers, and your peers and your learning environment, clean up after yourselves, help out where you can, pitch in, arrive on time and prepared. So have homework completed, classwork completed, readings done, etc. Have pens, papers, computers. One thing that is very, very special about HPA is that we really appreciate the communication from students to our teachers or to any of our staff so we can help you and guide you along the way. So if something's going on, please communicate with us as soon as possible, and that's seeking that help, and we can work efficiently together. For parents, please help create that supportive home or dorm environment for learning. So is there a special place that they can go to when they come home to complete their homework? Encourage and guide your children to take responsibility for their learning choices and time management, knowing that they're not always going to make the right decision, and that's okay because this is part of the learning process. So we can celebrate those times that they have those successes and be able to talk through those challenging moments so that when they come across something again, they can make a better choice. And finally, by doing that, we just demonstrate a positivity towards learning and that growth process. Additional tips, open lines of communication, also check your emails, look at weekly newsletters, and participate in conferences and events that are happening at the school. Keep up to date and look on My HPA for any resources. And we really want to encourage a balanced lifestyle with our students. So between sports, academics, co-curriculars, etc. Let's try and communicate. If something seems a little unbalanced, we'll find solutions to make that work out. Furthermore, for students, I kind of went over some of these already, but arrive to class on time, be prepared, attend all your classes, participate, and don't use your cell phone in class unless your teacher is asking you to do that. Once again, read your My HPA emails, and they will include all the information that you have, you know, whether that's class or schedules, activities, and so forth. This is a typical schedule in My HPA and what this looks like. You'll see the blocks, you'll see the teachers, you'll see what building and the room number and the course title. What AI looks like at HPA. So we've been really diving deep into AI work this past summer, and we're going to be going forward through it this year. Some of the things that we are looking at is we're going to be an asset-based position. That means that we are embracing AI and are wanting to know more about how it can serve our students and also our faculty as a community. And these are some position guidelines that we are really conscientious of making sure that it really supports the learning process and is not a substitute for it. How it can help generate ideas, but then we need to take it from there so that we can continue to grow in the learning process, as well as we really want to be conscientious of the safety in regards to AI. So we have actually partnered with Magic School. We have a letter that describes what Magic School is. So if you would like to take a picture of that QR code and look through that, that is probably going to give you a lot of information in regards to how we are approaching it, what Magic School is, so that when your student comes home and they are utilizing Magic School, you can kind of help guide them through that. All right. Honor code and citizenship. Would you like to talk about this?
All great communities have to have rules and boundaries, and certainly in the world of your academics and in the world of AI, you need to have that as well. So when do we use AI? That's going to play in terms of honor and citizenship. It's fairly simple. I'll let you read that through. And this is one, while the code is a global piece, the pledge is specific more so towards an academic piece of work that you're doing. And so where does AI play a part? And I'm sure in certain drafts of your work that you're doing that there'll be times where you can use resources, and then there's times where let's put it into our own words, and so we can assess based on what you know at that point. There's a process for anything that gets reported by teachers, and there's conversations that exist, and parents, you would hear about things as well right away. And these are fairly simple concepts that, of course, all good schools have for their students, so we can advance you moving forward in the world. And then Mr. Moltz here, who's sitting right down here. Citizenship at HPA. So everybody is expected to be on time and to be at their functions as they should be. When you're not, there's a consequence for that behavior. It's, again, not a reflective of you as a student, but it's that behavior of being tardy, perhaps, that got you a conduct point. And that particular point then goes into your conduct system. Parents on My HPA, you would be able to see that. Students, on your view of My HPA, you would be able to see that. Where are my points and why did I get those points? And it's all right there for you to view. having 3 points or less, there's a gratuitous piece where 3 points or less is considered passing. Anytime we go above 4, you'd see that. So on the view list, as you can see here, the total points under student would happen here. Now, sometimes there's mistakes, and we'll be honest about this. So as teachers are going to take attendance right when class begins. And if you're late, well, if you're there, you're there. If you're not there, it goes down as an absence. Now, absence is 4 conduct points. That's a biggie. That's an automatic failure. But you're late, you show up. It's worthwhile to have that conversation knowing that you're late with the teacher straight away to say, as soon as class is over, to say, hey, I'm sorry I was late, the following reason, but I just want to make sure that you change that conduct from a 4-point deduction to a 1 point, because that's really important. There's time to do that later too, but it's easier to do it when it's something happening right then and there. So our class deans, for most of you in this room, it'd be your class dean is Miss Sebastian in grade 9, and she works with 2 other class leaders that we'll show you real soon. Grade 10 has a class leader, Miss Brewer, Miss Montgomery, and Miss Lincoln is at the grade 12. Now those class deans work real closely with myself and Dr. Aragon and Miss Craven as well, that you'll see up here. But we discuss things as a group so that we make sure everything is working well for you. Freshmen, these are your 2 class leaders. They work directly with your class dean, Miss Sebastian, and you'll meet with them weekly at times to discuss things that you're doing as a class. Class leaders for 10th grade, 11th, and 12th for our seniors. The advisory program, so students, you'll meet with your advisor, your class advisor. You'll find out who that is on your My HPA as well, and there'll be an opportunity for you to meet with them and to go over questions that you may have, but to also talk about overall global concepts that we have at the school in terms of, say, integrity or being kind or simple things like that, or what's your struggle? What's happening and how can we help? And those can be in a group setting of anywhere from 8 to 10 of you with one advisor, or it can be in a one-on-one. You can ask them for help otherwise. And I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Aragon.
All right, thank you. So I mentioned before, we do have learning support here and a learning center. So this learning center is primarily for students who have diagnosed challenges, and we have a room actually 3 learning specialists on this campus that help students out in regards to looking at study skills, executive functioning, peer tutoring program, and helping you out achieve anything that you need to do. Please be in contact with us, and I'll show you that next. If you have any questions regarding that, we do set up learning plans if you need one or require one, and we do ask that you have documentation like a psychoeducational report for that to happen. If you are curious about that, please come talk to me. I am more than happy to answer any questions in regards to that. One final thing I will say, as these are our contacts up here, please enjoy being here at HPA and embrace all the different activities we have, like International Day and Olympics and so forth, because the more you get involved, I think you'll find true community here, and you'll really have a very memorable and just it's going to be the best times of your lives. So please, like I said, contact us if you have any questions, and that is it.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to talk about Kamakani Cash today, but a little bit about myself. My name is Victoria Yu. I'm the controller and work in the business office. This is my 10th year at HPA. And my son is in class 2026, the junior this year. So for the business office, we managing accounts receivable, accounts payable, and payroll, and human resource. And there are some system we also use, and also we also managing the audit, the financial audit for the school. So today I want to talk about Kamakani Cash. It's our student billing system, but when you call billing, it's not really billing, it's a prepay. It's like a debit account. So the system is to promote like cashless. So we don't want kids to carry cash on campus. So all the kids enroll in HPA will automatically get an account. And most of you probably already received an email from school to tell you what the login information. So for students, they can get a virtual card with their phone, the cell phone. You can either go to kamakanicash.hpa.edu or you can go through My HPA. It's under the resource tab. The icon, it's the Kamakani Cash here. And some students prefer to use badges. So you can go to the student life, they will print a physical card for you. And the card would come with a picture with a barcode, but you guys haven't taken the picture, so probably when it will just image there, but later you will get an actual picture over there. So this is how it looked like. The parents also can access Kamakani Cash through My HPA. Under resource and then Kamakani Cash. This is what the system look like, and student will go to the student staff login. Parents will go to parents and guest login. And so you can actually invite people like grandma want to pay, then you just send them the link, they can log in too. So the guests can log in, you can sign up 10 people to fund the account. So most of the time, the kids will use it for student store to buy snacks, or they can sign up for dance tickets or weekend activities. And then sometimes we bill, like for the AP testings, we will bill in November. If no fund, it will still bill and it will go deficit, and parents should fund the account. And next one, it's Kamakani Cash is not a line of credit. So please fund your kids' account. If there's no money, we cannot charge. And the kids should pay before they go on any of the sign-up events. Like I say, you guys should have received the email. If you have a question and unable to log in, please contact us, and this is our contact information. And our business office is located in Washer Building. And then I will stay a little bit longer after this event, and then if you have a question, just come to us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It was nice meeting many of you already up front, but Coach Spencer and I are just going to kind of whip through basically the afternoon here. Just a little quick update. I've been here a long time. I'm from Boston. Love the place. So hopefully all of you will enjoy your time here as well. Seasons. We have 3 seasons here. Fall, spring, and winter, of course. Right now we got football, cross country, and volleyball going on, and cheer will be starting up on Wednesday. So if there is anybody here that's interested in the football and the girls volleyball, today would be a great day to get down there, all right? Just because you can meet coaches and kind of get out there before you're too far behind. But everything else will start up on Wednesday. The cross country and the cheer will start up on Wednesday after school, all right? Other things, just to show you a quick recap of what things are each season. The team sports are listed there. Winter season starts up about November 1st, and the spring starts up about February 1st. We are excited to offer in the spring another varsity sport for the girls. We are offering girls flag football for the first time in the state of Hawaii. So if there's any girls out there that are interested in that, I'll be in touch with all of you. The The schedule, pretty much every afternoon, everybody's doing something. From after your classes end at 3, you're going to come down the campus to the gym area, almost everybody, and participate in something. Monday through Thursday, Coach Spencer will kind of talk about the co-curriculars, and Monday through Saturday, pretty much, are our varsity and JV sports. And I think that's, if you'd like to scan the schedule, if you're a football fan, volleyball fan, cross-country fan, that will give you the schedule for all the fall sports. All right? Any questions? I'm down in the gym almost all the time. Stop on by, email me, and I can answer your questions. So have a good rest of your day. Coach Spencer.
All right. We get to talk about the best part of the day, by the way. Just, yeah, easily the best part of the day. So this is me. This will be my 12th year at HPA, going into becoming the co-curricular coordinator and some other things I do. I work as a strength and conditioning coach. So you students, you should have seen a form to sign up for your co-curricular. When you see strength and speed as one of the options, that's with me. And I also do track and field. Again, staying with strength and speed. Co-curricular programs. This is an overview of our menu. Coach Perry mentioned the different seasons and how everybody is involved in something after school. So if you're not in a varsity sport, you're most likely in a co-curricular option. And this is an overview of the options that we typically offer per season. Again, I mentioned all students should have the co-curricular sign-up form in their email. But I also know how we can be with our email. So we're going to make this very easy for everybody to sign up. So every student needs to sign up for their co-curricular, and this is where you can do it. If you've already done this, disregard this slide. Common confusion, if you're in a varsity sport, football, volleyball, cheer, cross country, it is helpful for you to actually dictate that on this form as well. That way we don't feel the need to potentially have to chase you down and ask you, hey, what are you doing after school? So I'll leave this up for a few more moments. And as mentioned, any questions, please come to, any questions regarding co-curricular activities, please feel free to ask me. My email is jspencer@hpa or Coach Perry for anything relating to athletics. Oh, and co-curricular activities starts next Monday, Monday the 19th. Just in case anybody was wondering about that. And there you go. There's our contact information. And again, this is the best part of the day. All right. Enjoy, everybody. Aloha.
Aloha, everyone. This is all about my HPA. If you'll find, we're from the IT. I'm Elaine Pettit. I'm in database admin, and our office is down the technology building. This is our crew. There's 4 of us, and we do all different types of stuff. So you'll be able to hear from Sam in a few minutes.
Morning, I'm Sam Baker. I work in the IT department. Been at school here for about 5 years. And so we're down the far side of the campus, kind of across the art building over there. It's called the technology building. And so we all do different things in IT. I primarily do a lot of the tech support for the faculty and staff and students. Students are always welcome to come to my office and get help with their laptops or phones or have login issues, Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff. And my door is usually just wide open so they can just come in between classes, that kind of thing, and get help. And so they asked me to give a little bit of background about me and why I'm here, what I'm doing, that kind of stuff. So I'll give you a quick little spiel. So we came to this island back in 2008. So we've been here, a good chunk of time. So I got pretty familiar with the culture here and everything, and really enjoy being in Hawaii. So I got to share with you guys. We live in the Hualoa, which is other side of the east side of the island, Honaka'a side near Tex Drive-In. So I make my wonderful commute every morning, which in the summer is great, but when school starts again, Waimea is a log jam, as some of you folks probably know. So I have to navigate through that every morning. I've been here for almost 5 years now, and my second daughter, Jasmine, she just graduated from HPA last May, and she's headed off to Ireland in 2 weeks. She's going to University College Dublin, so she's pretty excited about that, and we're very excited for her, and
So she really benefited a lot from being here at HPA and making use of the college counseling system, and all the guidance she got from her teachers and advisors here was really helpful to her to get up to that level where she could actually be eligible to apply to that college and get in. And so we're pretty excited for her. We really appreciate all of the help we got from the HPA to get her into that opportunity. As I said, no problem's too small as far as students come to my office and getting help with things. And we don't repair the computers for students, but we can definitely diagnose them, find what's going on. And we have a really good partnership with the Mac store in Kona called Jack D. Click. And so we oftentimes have students take their computers there. We send them down, and we can have them repaired under warranty or fix them and that kind of stuff. And one thing to be mindful of is last year we had several examples of this, both faculty and students, is spilling drinks on computers. You can imagine, both on computers, on phones, that kind of stuff. They don't like being wet, Some of the iPhones and Android devices are pretty good at recovering from getting wet. If you just let them dry out and put some in a bag of rice, things like that, they'll miraculously come back to life again. But when you spill liquid on the laptop, on the keyboard, it just saturates and usually fries it. And Macs are very expensive to repair. So what I'm getting to here is, A, be careful with having liquids anywhere near your laptops, in your bag, and that kind of stuff. And B, if you don't already have it, if you're going to buy a new computer, especially if it's a Mac, definitely get the extended warranty, the AppleCare Plus, because that will cover everything you do to the computer. And I've seen students, all kinds of accidents happen, broken screens, spilled water damage, all that kind of stuff. And most usually pay about $100 deductible, and they'll fix it for the entire period of the warranty over and over again if it gets broken. My daughter, same thing. She had a MacBook, and she spilled liquid on it. And we took it down there, $100, fixed it. Last month, second damage. Took it down there again. He's fixing it right now for her. So it pays itself off having that extended warranty if you're going to be buying a new Mac anytime during the course of the student's life at HPA. So let's see. I have a little bowl of candy usually in my door. Students like to come in and get some snacks between classes, that kind of stuff. I didn't hear if Mr. Malt already mentioned about the conduct points issue, but if students get conduct points for being late or other kinds of egregious behavior, you can work off your conduct points. One place you can work them off is in my office. You can coordinate with Mr. Maltz and me and come and do some help with me in my office, various types of things I get involved in. You can work off your conduct points that way. So I had lots of students come by last year working off their conduct points, usually coming to me towards the end of the week, Mr. Baker, I can't go on my field trip unless I get some conduct points worked off. So I usually have a few hours, at least a day heads up, I can accommodate you to come to my office and do some work for me and work off your conduct points. Then you're raced, you can go on your field trip, wherever you wanted to do that you're being held up for. So that's one of the relationships I have with the students. This is now Elaine's turn, I believe. So thanks a lot and welcome to the school, and glad to help you out with whatever tech needs you need.
I figured instead of my picture, I'll just, IT is working on it. I am fairly new to the school as well. I didn't start until December 5th, so I'm actually a new parent as well, like you. We moved here in Waimea 2015. I was born and raised in the island of Samoa. I have two girls that are also starting at HPA. One's a 10th grader, and one's a 7th grader. I do have a Rhodesian Ridgeback, so if you want to walk him, you're welcome to let me know. He loves to walk. And I also love to travel. You can also get a hold of me by emailing IT help. You can get a hold of me or Sam or anybody from the IT department. Or you can shoot me an email directly. Raise your hand if you've already logged into my HPA. Oh, this is nice. Our boarders, hardly any of them raised their hands. So this is a good plus for my day peeps. If you haven't, it's okay. If you haven't gotten an email, there should be an email that was sent out. It's a secure IT email. So it may look like a spam. So for those that haven't gotten any or felt like they didn't get an email from HPA, search for secure.it. And you should be getting an email that has included your password and username. It's encrypted, is the reason why we send it that way. So in order for you to sign in, you have to log in first to your email and then go look for the My HPA shortcut that's inside the Google, the 9 dots up on the top. I'm assuming this might be a refresher for you because I'm sure you've already browsed through My HPA and poking around to see what else is in there. For parents, if you have multiple kids, you'll be able to see your students. You could just click on that drop-down arrow, and you should be able to choose from one student to another. And you'll be able to see their progress in school, all their grades, what their schedule is like. The resource board is also where you can find more information if you need a shortcut to the Magnus for the health. Also, other information as to IT information or sports. You can find information in there in the resource. Also the calendar, you can click on the calendar, you should be able to see what's going on at school. Profile, so if you haven't updated your profile, this is where you can update it. You can access it through from the top right, click on your picture if you have a picture on there or your name, and it should bring down that drop down arrow. I think this is where you'll find the notifications and privacy and login settings. You can set that up there as well. Okay, I think this, okay. For the settings, parents, sometimes we might be wondering how come we're not getting any email from my HPA of any announcements of sorts. Just make sure you click on settings and make sure that you click on the bulk email on the bottom. You won't get a ton of email, but you will get emails of what's going on during the school, announcements and all sorts. So if you uncheck that, you might not be getting any email. But if you're wondering why you're not, this is where you should go to make sure that's checked. Directories for parents, students, and teachers as well. This is also where you can go to look up information about teachers sometimes will look up information about a student to see what schedule they have, if they need to schedule a one-on-one with them. This is also where they look. So it's the same as you parents. You can find information here as well as students. One thing for students, if a teacher's trying to get a hold of you and you have clicked the button where you say, do not show all of my information, nobody's going to be able to find you. So I would highly recommend that you leave that on so that your teachers are able to find you. This is another refresher, seeing where your parents, you'll be able to see the tabs on the bottom. It'll tell you the progress, the classes your student is taking, what grade they have in it, or if they're missing an assignment. You can be able to be involved as well, or the students are able to see what they're missing. And this is they're going to be in My HPA maybe 90% of the time, because that's where they're going to do all of their work, submit all of their assignments, and teachers will be able to check. Okay. Sorry, this is kind of like a refresher for you. I feel like you're already seeing all these things. Finding your class. So usually for the students, if you click on My Day, you'll be able to see what's going on that day. What classes do you have on those days? I think some of our students that came from the middle school probably already has seen this. But for our new students, My Day is sometimes you'll be able to see. If you don't remember if it's a Mamo Day or Ula Day, you'll be able to see what day it is, what you're going to be in class that day. Okay, again, this is where you'll see your class, what period, what time your period is, where you're going to be at, what building you're going to be at. So everything is in My HPA. Viewing your assignments, teachers will assign new assignments in here. Parents, you'll also be able to be involved if you want to know what your student, if they're missing an assignment, you can also help double check on them to make sure they're on top of it. But pretty much students will be able to assign themselves a task on an assignment so that they can, if an assignment is due the following week, they'll be able to just kind of manage that themselves so that they'll be able to get it done. Okay, again, the resource board. You'll find a lot of information on there, and if there's any information that you don't know of or don't understand, you are always welcome to email IT help or email me directly, and I can just kind of guide you to where you need to go. But most of the information are on the resource board. Oh, lunch menu. You guys, raise your hand if you already know how to find the lunch menu. Yeah, isn't that cool? You know what to eat that day. Okay, Crisis Go and Safe to Speak Up. Crisis Go is a comprehensive safety platform designed to manage emergency situations effectively at HPA. Parents, you are welcome. It's also on a resource board, so you can click on that invitation link. It only sends you a one-way alerts if there's anything that we need to alert the parents with. I know Mark is not, I think he left. Mark left, okay. Usually sometimes if there's an accident down the road, for example, and we needed to alert all the parents if it's like early in the morning and the road down the hill is closed, or maybe also the Honoka'a side coming into town, we can send you a one-way alert to the parents saying, hey, you know, just an FYI, there's an accident, and I understand that your student might be here late. So those are some of the alerts that we would get. And students, you can download this app, not Crisis Go. You have to download the Safe to Speak Up app, and you can have it on your phone. So this is where you, I think also Mark will check in on you monthly, and you would have to click a button where it says I've checked in. So also all those information and how to get it is also on resource board. So we want your students to be successful and at HPA. And if you have any questions or don't know where to go, you have teachers, advisors, you have other students that in your class that you could also ask. Any questions? Oh, you ready for lunch? Yes, no, okay. Well, this is our information. Our office is open from 8 to 4:30. You're welcome to always pop in down at the technology building. We're kind of closer to the Kohala gate, so that's where our building is at, and everyone is welcome to pop in. I know Sam says he does have candy there, so I'm right next to Sam's office, so he gets most of the traffic. So you can always pop in, get a candy, and come see me. All right. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. There we are. So I'll start off with this. Tiffany Freitas is out on an outing right now. She's awesome. We've worked together for 6 years as the counselors here. And there's me. A little bit about me. I am starting, I think, my 34th year as a school counselor. I'll let that seep in a little bit for you. I never left school. I went to college and I went right back to high school. So I have been dealing with teen drama my entire life. And there's really not anything I haven't heard. So bring it on, new students. I'm ready for you. All right, here we go. What do we got? Okay, so we changed it used to be the Counseling Center, and we were intentional about changing the name to the Wellness Center. We did that so that we were hoping to take away a little bit of the stigma of going to see the counselor. And we constantly work on this, but you students, you'll see that there's lots of people coming in there that don't have problems. Most of them don't. They like to hang out. We got this really cool apartment that we've turned into this to the Wellness Center. We have plants all over the place, and so walk-ins. Because we've worked on this, a lot of students feel, I think, very comfortable coming to meet with us. So if you're having a tough day while you're transitioning, you know, we expect that this can be a challenge for some of you. So new students, come and see us. There's all kinds of things that we work with, usually not heavy stuff. A lot of times we'll talk to teachers. If you're struggling in a class, we can be the in-between. Short-term solution-focused counseling. What that means is we're not therapists. We're not going to like put you on the couch and hypnotize you or anything like that. We are simply there to try to figure out what's going on, come up with a plan, put some things into place that you can do, and then be there to support you as that plan goes into place. So if the short term doesn't work, then we will sometimes refer students out to counselors or therapists in the community. But for the most part, you know, we do it right in-house there. I'd like to say that although we still have our challenges, no doubt about it, we have anxious kids like everybody else does, but I do think we're bucking some of the trends nationally. I think students here, because you have advisors, because you have teachers that care about you, we don't have students falling through the cracks. I think that happens a lot in public schools. So you will get to know people personally, and if you are having some challenges, people are going to pick up on it. And then they're going to refer to us really quickly. So I think that's one of the things that sets us apart is the fact that we really put an emphasis on forming relationships. And our advisory program is really amazing. For you freshmen, you'll be with the same advisor most likely for 4 years while you're here. So that's a little bit about the Wellness Center, and that's it.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Kelsey.
Good morning, and I'm Cindy Montgomery. Welcome. Good to see you, and so many friendly faces and familiar faces out there. Yep, I gotcha.
So we're college counseling. We're the other counselors. If you want to be hypnotized and lie on a couch, come see us. We also have the campus's best snacks, hands down. Our office is connected to the library, so we're right in the center. If you're a boarder, you pass us going to class. If you're a day student, you pass us going to lunch. We're here all day, every period, lunch, after school, whenever you need us, and we love what we do.
Indeed. There's 4 of us in or 3 of us in our office, and then a team that helps to support testing. So Andrew and myself, our wonderful, wise colleague, Jane Quayle, who's actually out on an excursion to Maumai right now, so I'm sorry she couldn't be here with us, but you'll see her around, and she is the front line when you come in the office. She schedules all college visits, and if you ever have questions, she'll be the first person you see when you come through the door. And then finally, we're lucky to be supported by our academic office and our student life office in providing a really robust testing program here for all our students that we'll get into a little bit later.
Okay, so a couple bios. I grew up in Virginia, came to Hawaii 1995. A few things. I was a past president of the Hawaii College Counseling Group, and I've been on some national boards. It's my 28th year at HPA, and I have I have a 6th grader. He thinks he's an 8th grader. His name is Dylan. And my best work experience besides HPA, which has been half of my adult life, was definitely teaching and living in Japan right after college. Before Cindy speaks, we have like 40 years of combined college counseling experience, and this class will be hitting mid-2,000, 2,500 plus students that we've worked with over the years. So it's been a journey and a fun one.
Interestingly, my background in some ways really mimics Andrew's. I also grew up on the East Coast. We moved here the same year. We didn't meet each other, although we were both living in Honolulu at the time, I believe. I have been privileged to also have some professional development experiences beyond HPA in our professional organization, both at the national and the state board, and I still serve on that board, which is just wonderful for me, and I'm so happy I can do that. Our office also coordinates the college fairs for the Big Island of Hawaii, which is so wonderful because we also get to work with state counselors here throughout our island. And I am lucky to serve as the junior class dean, so I go to all junior class meetings and help to run our college counseling curriculum through that class advisory system. So you juniors out there, you're going to see a lot of me if you're a new junior on campus. I'll look forward to meeting and working with you. I've been here for quite a while, and I've also been so lucky to have my child be here since kindergarten, actually before that, because I was living here as a dorm parent when my son was born. So he has been on this journey for a long time, and so have I, and I feel so grateful for that. And interestingly, another way that our lives overlap was we both lived in Japan for an extended period, and that experience, I know, continues to inform us and how we certainly look at students that are new to this environment here. And we really have our hearts open to kids as they make the cultural and sometimes language transitions here. And when I say cultural transitions, even students from other schools on our island, it's a big transition to come into our community. So we're here for you. Stop by anytime, and we'll look forward to meeting you all.
Okay, so how many freshmen, sophomores do we have, just to get an idea? Can you raise your hand? Freshmen, sophomores? Okay. So these are some tips you guys can read, but mostly what we want you to know is as you come in freshman, sophomore year, enjoy your life at HPA. Find ways to be involved, find your passions, and contribute. Explore all the co-curricular activities. When you're a freshman and sophomore, you can join these things and start becoming leaders. Even though you're young in the high school, it's very open and welcoming. And then we have college visits in our office, and we usually have a few at least every week. So they're open to everybody. And we love when freshmen and sophomores come because you're kind of like shopping. You know, it's not junior, senior year, so you can try a bunch of different schools, see how they compare to each other. And there's not a lot of pressure. So please come to our college visits. And then think about like your breaks, winter and summer, and plan some things that are fun for you and exciting, but that maybe enhance your future application for college, whether that's service work or taking college level classes or traveling or learning a language, whatever it might be, getting a job. All those things are powerful. And lastly, follow your bliss and be productive at the same time, and you'll do great. Just by choosing HPA, a lot of things for college take care of themselves, but the most important thing is to take advantage of all the opportunities at HPA, and that builds recommending relationships. People get to know you, so just put yourself out there and join us.
So sometimes I know increasingly there's a lot of talk about college and younger, right? I mean, even in 8th grade and 9th grade, sometimes some of you are hearing people talk about college already, and it can be a little intimidating because at 14 years old or 13, you don't really know colleges, and we understand that. We don't expect you to, but you do know yourself. So we really try to focus on an idea of self-reflection in the beginning, right? So right now, like Mr. Kelsey just said, just by virtue of finding what makes you happy, of finding people on this campus that support you, right? Who know where your strengths are and are happy to support you in also growing in areas that you have opportunities for growth. By virtue of doing that self-reflection and continuing to grow, you're building the most beautiful college resume. So just have faith in that. Once you get some of that kind of self-reflection underway, that's when we can kind of start moving a little bit more to looking directly at colleges that might fit those needs, who you are, the kind of environment that you thrive in, your learning style, and maybe possibly what your career aspirations and goals are. So through the advisory system here at HPA, we work on helping students develop these skills. So even though as freshmen and sophomore, you won't have individual meetings with Andrew and I, or Mr. Kelsey and I, you will hear a lot about us because of college visits, because we're sending curriculum through your advisory system and through different programs that happen here on campus. So just know you're already preparing for college just by being an involved, engaged student here on our campus. You're doing everything right.
Okay, so for the juniors and seniors, way more involved. We'll meet juniors this semester and then meet them a couple times or several times individually in the second semester. This is when you want to kind of push yourself, even if you're new, to try leadership roles and contribute to clubs and activities. and then looking ahead to your senior classes and capstones. So HPA's capstone program has actually helped many students get into highly selective colleges because it's so unique and it's sort of your signature, and you can show a college, I really cared about this project. I built it for a whole year. So on top of like good grades and being a good community member, capstones can be really powerful for college admissions. So think like, what would I like to do for a year? And again, take advantage of this great opportunity that HPA offers. It's a tremendous learning experience, and colleges sit up and take notice. They're like, what, you did what when you were in high school on top of everything else? It's very impressive. Consider adding rigor to your program, so that's APs or honors or independent work, but always maintain a healthy balance. Ask yourself, do I really need this class? And if you know your college list, you might be like, I think I have enough rigor already. I'm not that interested in that subject. And maybe, choose joy and balance. That's totally a great way to go if you know what you want to do. With juniors, we work in groups in the spring as well. And then think even more about your summer, because colleges are looking to see what maybe you do between your junior and senior summer. So think about that. Seniors, they're kind of our babies in the fall. They live with us. Sometimes we're closing the door and we find a few of them are still in the room. We're like, you got to go home. So you guys are welcome all the time. And we recommend with your family making internal deadlines for college in the fall. So that means like the deadline is, say, November 15. Say, I'm going to finish everything and send it by November 5. So you have 10 days cushion, and then your parents can say, hey, it's November 5, and you've already submitted your materials and you can feel good. But if you have to tweak one last thing, you can do it on the 6th, and you're still way ahead of the game. So make internal deadlines that are a little earlier than the real deadlines. And yeah, we really are excited, and many years this is the case where all of our seniors are done applying to college by winter break, so they can go home and just enjoy their holidays, right? So we want to do that with you guys and support you, and we'll be in all your class meetings. Seniors will see us a lot in the next few months. So aloha, and we got more slides.
Yeah. We are so lucky, despite our not even relative, our rural location, on top of it being isolated in the world. We have lots of colleges that still come here to the Big Island to meet our students. I feel so grateful, and that number grows every year. So we're lucky that right in our office, we have lots and lots of schools that'll come through to visit with you. All right? So the really cool thing is that students often overlook is that the same person that's sitting in our college counseling center eating our snacks and talking with all of you is the same person that's going to read your college application one day should you apply to that school. So just let that sink in, how incredibly powerful that is. So please come in, meet these reps that are visiting. If you're a freshman or a sophomore, you're totally welcome to come into our office and see us. And we love when young underclassmen come to the visit. So please come. In addition to this, we are hosting the college fair during Ohana Days, October 2nd. We're going to have the West Hawaii College Fair here in the gym, and all schools from around the island are invited. So you might see some of your friends if you're a Big Island kid. Some friends will be coming in for that as well. And we'll give you lots of information about that in the coming weeks.
Now, one other thing, the folks that visit us usually are the directors of admission or deans of admission, and that's because they keep Hawaii as a territory. And so many of them we've known for 20 plus years. Last year, I think 5 or 6 of the Ivies journeyed out here to the Big Island. So it's a school that definitely attracts a lot of great schools every year because of the quality of our students. This slide is maybe our least favorite slide, a little testing, but because you guys are new, how it works. Our 10th graders all take the PSAT in October. They're registered, they don't have to do anything. HPA covers the cost of that. The juniors, same in October for the PSAT. And then in the second semester, our whole junior class takes both the SAT and the ACT in the spring. And then at the very end of the year, you'll take AP exams if appropriate. After that, when you go to your senior year, you do have to register for additional tests and pay for them on your own. But our testing program takes you through the junior year. If you want to do additional SAT or ACT in your junior year, you'd have to register on your own for those as well. Oh, and all schools in America and mostly around the world take either the ACT or the SAT. So we give our students both tests, and then they choose the one that they're strongest at and focus on maybe preparing or bringing up that score, and they don't have to worry about the other test. So that's why we do both.
Okay, and that's us. So much like our counselors, our wonderful counselors, we really do have an open office policy. We have snacks and coffee and sofas for you to hang out. You don't need to be doing college counseling to be in college counseling. You can just come do your homework. If you're a new student between classes and you just don't know where to be for a little while, come and sit with us. You can just hang out in our room. So we're always happy to see students, and we'll look forward to meeting each of you. Mahalo.
All right. Hi, everybody. Ooh, this is low. We're going to hunch over a little bit. My name is John Moltz. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about student life here at HPA. I'm a part of the student life department. I'll tell you a little bit about myself in the next couple slides after these. So you're joining HPA, and we are an incredible community, and I say that with a lot of pride. Our boarding community is incredibly strong. I believe we represent 21 countries at this school this year, which is a pretty amazing thing. These are some words that we use to describe ourselves that I feel are all very valid. And so with you joining, you're joining this community. Some of the ways that we like to work with you guys is through these things. So we have our outdoor programs, which can include things all the way from hiking all the way into Waimanu for a 3-day camping trip. If that's not quite up your alley, we've got some easier stuff. We also have service projects. In the past years, we've worked with the Ironman and Lava Man races. We also have weekend activities. These are generally for the boarding students who don't have access to a car or a mom or dad in the household to take them places. But there are opportunities for day students to join on trips like that. We also like to have on-campus activities. Fire pit and s'mores over on Anna's Field is always a big popular one. Of course, there are school dances, and you'll hear more information about those as the year continues. Some of our other traditions that I find really incredible are HPA Olympics. The rising ninth graders from the VC, all all about the Olympics. But this is this really incredible event that happens. When I moved here, it was just something that blew my mind. You've got almost 400 high school students competing against each other for almost a whole week of school. The Olympics just finished the real ones, but I got to say, I think ours are pretty cool. We also make sure that our students are involved with Hawaiian culture. In past years, we've had students who are represented in the Merry Monarch Festival, and we also try and make sure that we can get tickets and send kids there to support. We also have our Makahiki Games and our International Day, which is probably the best lunch of the whole year. Our international students work with our kitchen staff, and they're the ones that are actually cooking this food. And you'll walk in, and you'll have food from Czechia, you'll have food from Japan and Korea and Germany, and it's all made by these kids. It's just really incredible. Student clubs. We have a lot of clubs, I gotta be honest with you. These are just some of the clubs that we had last year. And so these clubs provide a space and time for students to connect over common interests. One of my favorite clubs is run by Mr. Hamilton Ford, who's the director of residential life, and it's the Movie Club. And we've done some pretty cool movies in the past. These clubs support students in their efforts to share their interests. So if there's something that you're passionate about and there isn't already a club for it, make one. Come down to the student life office. We'll get you connected, and we'll show you how to start that up. And that develops leadership and organizational skills, right? Over 30 clubs last year, so we're very proud of that. So student leadership, you've met some of these people already. Those really helpful kids in red shirts today, those are our student ambassadors. And they've been doing so much work over the last week. We're very proud of that. There's also student council. Kids run for student council every year. They carry out student initiatives and traditions. We feel very strongly that our student leaders should take the initiative, and a lot of times they're the ones that are really pioneering things that are happening on campus. You guys are day students, but you should also know that in our boarding community, we have boarding prefects, just like Harry Potter. And they are this link between dorm parents, the people that are working in the dorm, and the students. And we also have our boarding representatives who serve the boarding community. They're students that work directly with our residential faculty in order to plan activities and initiatives around the boarding community. We're also really lucky to have this travel program. I was able to go back in March with a colleague of mine and 9 students. We went to New Zealand for 4 days, and then we hopped over to Australia for another 9 days. I was a little skeptical. I was worried about taking kids all that way international and just if I was going to be able to be good enough to do it. And it was an incredible trip. And so I really highly recommend all of you guys to consider taking some of these trips. You can see some of the places that we've traveled to in the past. And then looking forward to this year, there will be a trip over the Thanksgiving break to New York City. I've lived in New York City for a number of years. I love it. And if you haven't been to New York City, man, you got to get there. Other options during spring break are to Japan, Peru, and Europe. So you hear this a lot. Try everything, right? Sign up for activities, events, service projects, other opportunities, right? You got to take advantage of what we got here. We want you to ask questions. I don't want you to ever feel that you're walking into a situation where you don't know what's going on, or you feel like you've missed out on something. You can really talk to anybody. The Student Life Office in particular, I find is a great place for students to come if they have questions. And if you need support, we have a really strong support system. You've heard from Mr. Furchner about our counselors. You heard from Dr. Aragon about our learning support. The support systems, I feel, are very strong here. Make sure that you're patient with yourself and that you're open to new ways of being and doing, and that you share who you are authentically and bring that to our community, right? Being yourself authentically helps us as a community. I'm not Liz Watson. But unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, and she very much regrets that she couldn't. She is our Director of Student Affairs, and so she works in the Student Life Office as well. And she is really going to be the point person for a lot of these things that you just saw. So that's her contact information. I'm going to stay up here and talk about the really fun stuff. I know you heard about sports and all that, but what you really wanted to hear about was what happens if you're absent. So this is me. This is my 7th year at HPA here. I live on campus in the Perry Fisk dorm, which is an all-boys dorm way up at the top of the hill. I am the class attendance and student citizenship guy, so I'm keeping track of all of your absences, all of your tardies. I'm also the coordinator for the student work program. Students, you'll hear more about that tomorrow. I coordinate the weekend activities for the boarding students. And I'm also the assistant boys soccer coach. So if any of you guys are soccer players, please come talk to me. We need them. So this is really more for parents, so thank you for being here. We really would love to have absences reported to attendance at hpa.edu by 9 a.m. the morning of at the latest. Obviously, things happen, and I'm always checking my email and getting back to you as soon as I can. But if you can, ahead of time would be great so that I can make sure that your student is taken care of when the day comes. Sometimes you guys have long-term absences for whatever reason that is. And in that case, you would need to reach out to the academic office and the student's advisor in order to coordinate a plan for the missing classes. I know that none of you guys would do this, but occasionally our students have unexcused absences. Mr. Natesel talked about conduct points, and that's part of our citizenship system. If you have an unexcused absence for whatever reason, maybe you overslept and you didn't make it to your morning class, or you were I don't know, you're taking a nap in the student union during lunch and you miss your afternoon class, right? We understand these things happen, but there are consequences. And those consequences are likely conduct points, which you'll need to work off. Again, students, you'll hear a lot more about this tomorrow in your second day of orientation. Mistakes do happen, as Mr. Natzel said. You know, sometimes a teacher will take attendance at the beginning of class and just miss you. It happens, you know. So if there is a mistake, students, this is on you. You got to be checking your MyHPA to see if you're passing citizenship. And if you're not, you got to figure out what happened. And if it's a mistake, it is your responsibility to reach out to the teacher who gave you that absence in order to correct errors. Parents, if your child is sick, please don't send them to school. I know that we are kind of out of those couple years that we don't like to think about anymore. But if your kid is sick, please keep them at home. Now, if a student feels ill during the school day, we do have an infirmary with some really incredible nurses. And so that's attached, it's below the dining hall next to the Student Life Center. So students are always welcome to check into the infirmary, even if it's just something, I need a cough drop, I need to lie down for 15 minutes, I need to just turn my brain off for a little bit. You need to go there. If you are sick and you didn't go to the infirmary and you were on campus, it is going to be an unexcused absence. When your parents send us to school here, they're saying, hey, you guys are responsible for my child. And we take that responsibility incredibly seriously. So if we don't know where you are, it makes us worried. You can work off conduct points if you get them. There are a variety of ways. Mr. Baker talked about working in the IT office. I think the most common way is working in our school garden, which is actually a really incredible place. Willie Quayle runs the garden up there, and I think last year they donated something like 3,000 pounds worth of fresh produce to local communities. And a lot of that comes from the work that students do there. I just wanted to show this page again. You've seen it a number of times, but if you look at that box that says conduct, you see that 0. We hope that it stays at a 0. But if it doesn't, you can always click on that number, and it will take you to a list of your absences and tardies and any time you got conduct points, and we'll say who it's from. And then that attendance summary over on the side will also show the number of tardies and absences that you've accrued over a semester. So if you see that number starting to rise up, you should look into it. Okay, that's me. Again, I work with the Student Life Department. My office, however, is next to the bookstore in the lower level of the Student Union. If you ever have questions about these things, please come and see me. Please contact me. So thank you. We'll move on.
All right, I am back. So this picture right here, do we have any seniors here starting? Nope, no seniors. So this is the senior class. I believe it's next Friday. We'll be taking a walk up to our iconic kamakani tree. And this is a picture of them going up there. So this kind of is the journey, one of the culminating events we have for our seniors. And there's me again. I already kind of talked a little bit about myself, but I also I wanted to tell you how much in debt I am to HPA. I have 3 boys. 2 have graduated from here. I have a 3rd one that'll be a senior. And this place, it wasn't my parenting or my wife's, but this place really molded these young men into really wonderful people. So I have a debt of gratitude for sure for HPA. Oh, and I also teach a world religions class and mythology class. And yeah, I'm starting my 18th year here. Wow, I didn't know that. That's a long time. Okay.
Good morning. I'm Crystal Sebastian. My awesome friend Steve told me I should go down here, but I feel lonely down here, so I'm coming back up here to be by you. Speaking of absences, when I was absent, obviously, for the professional photo, so you get my preview to my Christmas card. I think I'm starting my 18th or 19th year. The fun fact is that I have a rising senior, like Mr. Furchner, and I was pregnant when I started here, I think 18 years ago. And then my older son, Nick, was 1. So I've also been at HPA a very long time. Steve and I have been friends before we even had children, which is a fun fact. And I've done a lot of things. I started out here as living on campus and was part of the boarding team in Robertson's dorm. And I was a school counselor for over 10 years, and then I transitioned, and I am now the freshman dean. So can my freshmen give me a wave so I can find you later? There they are. I love it. Yay, lots of freshmen. So I teach all freshmen a health and wellness class, so you'll either be enrolled first or second semester. I see some sophomores. Can you give me some love? How was freshman health last year? They can't see that you're glowing, your big smiles, and they're like, yes, super fun class. So I look forward to getting to know all of you. I also teach a senior capstone, so and an elective, a health and happiness class for upperclassmen. But anyway, been here a long time, love HPA, love this place, and we're so happy to have you all here, and I look forward to getting to know and meet you all. The great news that we forgot to say is we are the last act. We know you've been sitting here for a long time, so we're going to get through this quickly and get you all to lunch. I know, that's how we feel. Let's go.
All right, here in our time today, we're going to acknowledge current challenges facing this generation, understand the importance of mindset, and helpful do's and don'ts.
So this talk was originally just given to parents, but in recent years we've included the students, which I love too. And so I know a lot of the people before you spoke about just having this big picture perspective, that high school is an epic 4-year journey. And we know some of you are here just for, sophomore, junior, senior year, but it's going to be an adventure. And the best thing you can do is to just know, like any great adventure of a lifetime, if you can anticipate that there's going to be some challenges, some stormy seas, and then it's not so maybe scary or upsetting or overwhelming, okay? So over your time here, your child or you as a student may not get exactly the classes you want, or maybe you really want to take that surfboard shaping class, but it conflicts with Japanese 5 honors, and you have to make a tough choice, and you're disappointed, or different things like that. So if we just can anticipate and go into the mindset that there will be challenges, but you have lots of support for you along that journey, then that can be really helpful perspective.
This is Waimanu. Anybody in the room been to Waimanu? Oh, yeah, I see some hands over there.
That's impressive. Yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
even of our faculty.
So this is this epic 8-mile hike that our outdoor program does, and I believe they're going in a couple weeks.
September, I think it's on the schedule, so if you want to go, you can.
So the reason why we put this here is we want, this is a really difficult hike, and there's going to be times that are going to be difficult here, but the journey is worth it. The grit is worth it. It can be a struggle at times, but then at the end of the struggle, you get to this beautiful place, right? And the beautiful place for everybody is this amazing graduation you're all going to get to your senior year.
Perfect. Just to say a little bit about that, it's hard, right? So that's a really hard hike, and it's really beautiful, and we have very high standards for our students here, and so these are very long, full days. There's lots to do, and they get home after a very long, hard day with more to do in terms of homework and studying. So we'll talk more about that in a second, but this is just a slide from one of my favorite books that we'll just let you read to yourself. All right, so as parents, when our children are young, we make their breakfast for them, and we make their beds, and we pick out their clothing, and we do a lot of things for them. And then in high school becomes this transition period as we are working on them building their independence and self-reliance. So this is just a friendly reminder that as to the extent possible, one of the things you can do to support your child's transition is to allow your son or daughter, your child, to work things out on their own if they're able. Okay, so if your child is like, oh my gosh, I have too many tests on Friday and I have an away volleyball game that day in Ka'u, I'll never be able to study for all 3 of them. Instead of like emailing their teachers, you might say, can you talk, or who have you talked to about that? Or is that something your advisor could help you with? Or did you email your teachers and ask them if maybe you could get an extension until Monday to do one of them? Those types of things. So we're trying to let our kids do for themselves what maybe they haven't done in the past, but they need to develop that skill to grow. So probably you all know we're living in a little bit of a generation of overparenting where we're overprotecting in a lot of ways, and so we're being encouraged to remind ourselves as parents and as educators that our children are very, very capable, and sometimes it's hard to let go, but that's a helpful skill to help them develop.
Have the right mindset. This is one of the most important slides, especially for right now. It's totally normal and natural that there's some anxiety whenever we're going into something new, the unknown, right? Some fear can creep in. But we want to make sure that if you have this growth mindset where you anticipate and expect that there might be mistakes that you might make, that mistakes are part of the process. Focus on learning and improving and getting better. Putting in an excellent effort every day. That's the mindset. If you can come to school every day with that mindset, opposite is the mindset of worry, right? Anxiety, a negative reoccurring thought. That anxiety can shut a person down. And unfortunately, in the world that we're living in, there's a lot of anxiety, especially for teenagers. And so the way we counter that is to have that solid growth mindset. And that is really critical, not only like just jumping into the school year, but as we continue.
Before you switch it, I've got a great story about this. This summer, I learned to play pickleball. And it's really great because you get to, I got to get out there knowing nothing. And yesterday, after the back to school bash, I went down with my husband. We play on Sundays with a bunch of people. And I was so happy. I saw like a ton of our students playing pickleball. And one group in particular, I happen to know are all football players because my son plays football. And I could see them figuring this game out. And it was so great because even if you played tennis, the skills translate a little, but I have not mastered the serve. I can't figure out how to like drop the ball and hit it over. So I'm actually a fairly decent pickleball player now because I don't care that I don't know what I'm doing. And I loved seeing so many of our students teaching each other this game of pickleball, knowing that they were hitting it all over the court yesterday. So we just want our students to come in, try new things, not be afraid, put themselves out there. So we do a lot of cultivating that for them to grow and get better. All right, really quickly, we just wanted to say that again, instead of emphasizing the importance of grades or test scores, there's been kind of craziness in our country about, our kids are constantly asked about where they're going to go to college and what'd you get on that test and how many honors classes are you taking, how many APs, and it has not helped. It has not helped the last few this generation of teenagers and the ones before. There's been a huge mental health crisis, and our teens are more stressed and depressed and anxious than they've ever been. And stressed brains don't learn well, and stress saps our joy and our creativity. And so what we know, and if you don't believe me, I have lots of great places to guide you to some research that when we are happy, when we are content, from a healthy, happy state of mind, that's when we can't help but succeed. That's when we can't help but find a creative solution. That's where we can't help but think of a solution to a problem, right? And overcome whatever challenges we're dealing with. So we just want our kids to be happy. So we do a lot of things to cultivate connection at HPA, to bring joy and happiness. And we just ask you parents to be partners with that, because we know, and if you can just trust us, when our students get connected to this place and to each other, and they're connected to who they are authentically, like Mr. Molt said, magic happens. We just stay out of the way. But when our kids are stressed out and getting messages that the only emphasis and the only thing that matters is grades and test scores, it tends to stress them out, and they tend to implode and not blossom as well.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit to that, grades, SAT scores, they're one of the only things that's really measurable, right? And so sometimes as parents, we cling on to that. And we cling on to like, oh, they're going to get into this Ivy League school or whatever. And that's our egos as parents coming into play, right? We've had in the counseling center, unfortunately, this happens every year, because you guys saw that great slide on My HPA, and that's a great tool for parents, right? You can kind of check in every day and see how your child's doing. However, we have parents that come sort of obsessed with checking that every day. And if they see that there's a zero, all of a sudden they're calling their child during the school day, or they see a low test score, and that child ends up in my office, right, crying and upset because they feel like they've really let their parent down. Because remember, all you, the person you want to please the most is your parents, right? And so if they feel like they've let their parent down, then it can be a really negative emotional experience. So let's be careful with that.
This was you, but I'll do it if you want. No, you. I feel like
we
we've did that. These are our helpful do's and don'ts. I feel like you can read. The second one's more for boarders. We really do want you to keep in touch and get to know your child's advisor. We're going to go over and have a meet and greet at lunch, coaches, teachers, and we really do want you to reach out to us if your child cannot communicate. So if you know your child is really stressed or super anxious or struggling with a teacher and they're not able to initiate that conversation, that's okay. Let someone know. Let your child's advisor, one of our phenomenal counselors, or class dean, class leader help you, okay? So this doesn't have to be like cut and dry, you're cutting them off. And then these are our top don'ts.
And we already kind of talked about this, right? Like if you see a zero, a lot of times, and you'll see the grade will tank temporarily, right? A lot of times that's just the teacher putting like a placeholder, and your child will make that up. So
I can speak to a couple more of these as a teacher. Exactly. We're not saying there's no reason to not talk about a low grade on a test or missing assignments. It's just it's really hard to hold your kids' attention in the classroom for 70 minutes. And if they're walking between classes and then it's like, nope, you can't go to Sarah's this weekend because I saw you got a 60 on your bio test, right? Like then they're thinking about that in class and they're not able to learn. So we just want the time and place. I was doing a little reflecting. I read a book this summer, and this was a question that was there, and it made me chuckle. So I'll ask you parents, how many times, for the family and parents, the grown-ups in the room, in the course of high school, do you remember calling your mom? In the course of any given week, how often were you calling your mom, friends? Big zero? I couldn't remember any either. And so when our kids are on their phones and we're like, oh, can you put your phone away? You know who they're calling? Mom. It's always mom. And we know it's kind of funny because it's never like, oh, I'm checking my Snapchat. But it is true. Like some of them they'll show me, no, really, my mom is calling. And so again, I'm always like, nobody loves you more than your mother. Like I love my boys. I keep in close contact. But is it something that could wait till the end of the school day? I think that's the important things. They've become really tethered and really connected. And so there's a lot more constant contact that sometimes I think gets in the way of our kids navigating life. So.
Okay, I want to finish up on this note. This is a very condensed version on love and aloha. It's a talk that I gave at our chapel over the years. So I just want to finish with this. Obviously, as parents and as children, like the most important thing we can do is love one another, right? And push that energy out. And we can always go back to love. So I'm just going to read really quickly that love resides in the area of mystery, the sacred. Love is referred as the international language that overrides cultural and intellectual divisions. No greater feeling exists, so it makes sense that our greatest pursuit in life should be to love as much as possible. When we engage in actions that divert this magical energy inward, such as comparing ourselves to others, we lose sight of the power of love. Expressing love is not a passive act, but a powerful action that sends our energy out into the world, making a tangible difference. So that's what we always lean on here at HPA. We want you to lean on love. and understanding as much as we possibly can. And that.
Thank you
is
all.
it.